Om Ajna Timandasya Tinansana Sanakya Sexun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Chichitaya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutalesh Vyamrupakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiyo Shiyuda Padakamalam Shiyom Vaishnavamsam Shri Rupam Sagasatam Sakanaragnatam Tam Tam Sachivam Satvaitam Savdutam Parijana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sakaralita Shri Vishakam Vitamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Bandhu Jatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanashvaya Vishabhani Sutta Devi Panamama Haripriye Vanha Kalptrubhasha Kripasan Revisa Padnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktavina Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Sinyavadi Pachkatyani Desatarni Srila Prabhupada Ki. So we have been discussing the third verse of Nectar of Instruction. Utsan Nisayada Yattat Tat Karma Vartanat Sangatyara Satovipe Satpir Bhakti Pashidati. There are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. 1. Being enthusiastic. 2. Endeavoring with confidence. 3. Being patient. 4. Acting according to the regulative principles. As Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam, Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23. Hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. Abandoning the association of non-devotees and following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. For the last 6 sessions, we have been discussing Tat Karma Pavartanat by performing various activities for devotional service. And these various activities, these 9 activities, are mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam by Prahlad Maharaj to his father. And we are discussing the purport of this verse of the Bhagavatam. A very long purport, but a very meaningful and practical purport for us. So we nearly started to discuss the first item, Shravanam. So we continue reading. The 9 different processes enunciated by Prahlad Maharaj who learned them from Narada Muni may not be all required for the execution of devotional service. A devotee performs only one of these 9 if a devotee performs only one of these without deviation. So Prahlad Maharaj learned from Narada Muni in the womb of his mother so because Narada Muni gave shelter to his mother after the demigods wanted to kill her, well, not to kill her, but to kidnap her, and when she would give birth, they would kill the child, but Narada Muni interrupted them and said, "Oh, there is a pure devotee naar whom, and on the authority of Narada Muni, they circumambulated the the the, the wife of Hiranyakashipu, that, and they left. So Narada Muni was instructing Pralad's mother that, and also Prahlad in the womb. This looks very extraordinary. It's a power of transcendental sound vibration. But Prahlad Maharaj in the womb was in a very difficult situation. That and yeah, he was in difficulty, and he took the teachings very serious. But his mother was always in thoughts of her husband, and she heard all the explanation of Narada Muni, but it didn't go deep. Her hearing was not with attention. Therefore, she did not become a devotee, and Prahlad Maharaj became a devotee. So he learned from Narada Muni, because his father, Hiranyakashipu, asked, "What is the best you learned in school?" He was intending to hear what Prahlad Maharaj heard from Sonda and Amarka, its materialistic teachers. But instead, Prahlad Maharaj was thinking, let me give my father the best that I learned from my spiritual master. Then he speaks this verse. In this verse, it is said that not all the 9 forms of devotional service are required for the execution of devotional service. These 9 forms, they are in the verse. I read them again. So, Shyamanakirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pad Sevanam Archanam Vandam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam. Hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord one's best friends, and surrendering everything unto him. So these are the 9 processes. It's said here in this verse that, yes, even if one executes one of this, it's okay. One does not need to perform all these 9 processes. But a typical example given in the Bhagavatam of a devotee who executed all 9 of them is this is Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj, who was cursed by Durvas Muni, but Durvas Muni tried to harm him, but it didn't work out. He created a demon from one of his hairs. He smashed it on the ground, and a big demon came out, which was meant to kill Ambarish Maharaj. But then Krishna Sudarshan Chakra appeared and killed the demon and started to follow the Durvasa Muni. But Ambarish Maharaj was always engaged in devotional service in these 9 forms. And how did he do it? That That's, that's explained in the ninth canto, chapter 4, beginning with text 18. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayor, Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane, Kara mandir marchana diso, Shotim Sikara Chucha Satkatodai. Maharaj Ambarich always engaged his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of the Lord, his words in describing the glories of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the Lord's temple, his ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna. Mukunda lingalaya darshane drisha tadbritya gatra sparshan gam sangranam. Janam satatpada saucha sarabe shrimad tulasya ashanam tadarpite. Maharaj Ambarish engaged his eyes in seeing the deity. Krishna's temples and Krishna's places like Mathura and Vrindavan. He engaged his sense of touch in touching the bodies of the Lord's devotees. He engaged his sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of tulasi offered to the Lord, and he engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasad. Pada Arikshetra Padanu Sarpane Shiro Rishikesha Pada Bivandane Kamam Sadasye Natukam Akamyaya Yatottamasloka Yanasraja Rati. Maharaj engaged his legs in walking to holy places and temples of the Lord, his head in bowing down before the Lord, and all his desires in serving the Lord, 24 hours a day. Indeed, Maharaj Ambarish never desired anything for his own sense gratification, engaged all his senses in devotional service in various engagements related to the Lord. This is the way to increase our attachment for the Lord and be completely free from all material desires. So these three verses that are very practical. How to engage in these 9 different poses is explained. But even if one engages in one of these, one can attain perfection. That is mentioned here. That said sometimes it is found that when one performs one of the processes, all the others are mixed with it. Like if we hear about Krishna, Shravanam, then if we chant the holy name, we hear about Krishna, but we do also Kirtanam. We speak the holy name, and then we remember Smaranam. That so it's mixed. So that is not improper for a devotee. When a devotee executes any one of the 9 processes, Navalakshana, this is sufficient. With the other 9 processes are included. Now let us discuss these 9 different processes. So we are going to discuss now the Shravanam, which is hearing, which is the first and the foremost. Well, everything starts with hearing. So hearing is very important. If we don't hear, we cannot do kirtan. We cannot remember Krishna. So it begins by hearing. So as I explained last time, these 9 forms of devotional service are divided into categories. That Bhagavat Vidhi and Pancharatka Vidhi. The Bhagavat Vidhi is Shravana Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Bhagavat Vidhi. And the second is, that is the Bhagavat Vidhi. And the other 6 processes are processes of deity worship explained in the Pancharatram. The first here over de Bhagavad Gita, Shravanam, en dan krijg je dan Vishnu Smaranam. Shravanam is the most important. Everything starts with hearing. Shravanam, hearing the holy name of the Lord Shravanam is the beginning of devotional service. Although any one of the 9 processes is sufficient, in chronological order, the hearing of the holy name of the Lord is the beginning. Indeed, it is essential. And then Srila Prabhupada quotes the verse of Shikshastakam, the first verse, Sheto Darpanamarchanam. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one is cleansed of the material conception of life, which is due to the dirty modes of material nature. When the dirt is cleansed from the core of the heart, one can realize the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sakshit Ananda Viha. Thus the hearing of the holy name one comes to the platform of understanding the personal form of the Lord. So gradually one comes to that. It is the chanting is a process in which we give attention to the holy name and then our love. But to give attention, we must avoid the 10 offenses. And that and chant in the mode of a servant of Krishna. That it's chanting with sambandha jnana, knowledge of our position towards Krishna. That then, and Galdi one comes to realize the form, but the realization of the form of the Lord in the chanting will come if we, from the moment we start to remember Krishna constantly while chanting without interruption. And that's the position of liberation that's attained after many years of chanting, or earlier when one has been advanced because of his previous life or been advanced by extraordinary mercy of a devotee. Thus, by hearing the holy name of the Lord, one comes to the platform of understanding the personal form of the Lord. After realizing the Lord's form, one can realize the transcendental qualities of the Lord. When one can understand his transcendental qualities, one can understand the Lord's associates. Prabhupada points here about a sequence, how Krishna will reveal himself when we can remember him constantly. It starts with Krishna reveals his beauty, a beautiful form, his qualities, his environment, the holy name, his associates. So does a gradual, and then he reveals his pastimes within the heart. So in this way, a devotee advances further and further towards complete understanding of the Lord, as he awakens in realization of the holy name, transcendental form and qualities, his paraphernalia and everything pertaining to them. Therefore, the chronological process is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. The same process of chronological understanding holds true in chanting and remembering. When the chanting, name, form, and qualities and paraphernalia is heard from the mouth of a pure devotee, his hearing and chanting is very pleasing. So in this sentence, some very important points are made. One should, hearing the chanting of the holy name, form, qualities, and paraphernalia from a pure devotee. So we have the opportunity to hear from Srila Prabhupada and his pure followers. So that is important, sufficient hearing from the right source. And then his hearing and chanting are very pleasing. Srila Sanatana Goswami has forbidden us to hear chanting of an artificial devotee or non-devotee. So that's something to be very careful with. So now we are going to read the next paragraph. Okay. Someone is volunteering to read the next paragraph, hearing from the text of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna, I can read it, Maharaj.
Thank you.
Hearing from the text of the Srimad Bhagavatam is considered the most important process of hearing. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of transcendental chanting of the holy name, and therefore the chanting and hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam are transcendentally full of mellows. The transcendental holy name of the Lord may be heard and chanted accordingly to the attraction of the devotee. One may chant the holy name of the Lord Krishna, or one may chant the holy name of Lord Rama, or Narasimha Dev. I'm going to skip over the.
I'll read it. Amada Murti Kalani Amena Tishtan. So continue.
Hare Krishna. The Lord has innumerable forms and names, and the devotees may meditate upon a particular form and chant the holy name according to his attraction. The best course is to hear of the holy name, form, and so on from a pure devotee of the same standard as oneself. In other words, one who is attracted to Krishna should chant and hear from other devotees who are attracted to Lord Krishna. The same principle applies for devotees attracted to Lord Rama, Lord Narmashim, and other forms of the Lord. Because Krishna is ultimate form of the Lord, Krishna tu Bhagavam Sayevam
Swayam
is the best to hear about Swayam. Thank you. Is the best to hear about Lord Krishna's name, form, and pastimes from a realized devotee who is particularly attracted to the form of Lord Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, great devotees like Sukadev Goswami have specifically described Lord Krishna's holy name, form, and qualities. Unless one hears about the holy name, form, and qualities of the Lord, one cannot clearly understand the other process of devotional service. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends that one chant the holy name of Krishna.
Param Vijayate Krishna Sankirtanam.
Thank you. I could almost said that myself. If one is fortunate enough to hear from the mouth of realized devotees, he is very easily successful on the path of devotional service. Therefore, hearing of the holy name, form, and qualities of the Lord is essential. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So,
you're very welcome.
This Bhagavatam, if we hear the Bhagavatam, that it is said is the most important process of hearing, because the hearing of the Bhagavatam will put us in the right mood, in the right position, understanding who Krishna is, who we are, what our relationship is. And it said the Srimad Bhagavatam is full of transcendental chanting of the holy name. So there are many verses in the Bhagavatam which describe the chanting of the holy name. If we go into the beginning of the Bhagavatam, that's even in the first canto, chapter 1. Moment, go back, try to find it here. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Questions by the Sages. Let's see. Yeah, this is text 1114. Apana samshitin Gauram Jannama Vishvasohinan, Tatasa Dyovimuchita, Yad Bibeti Svayambhavam. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death are freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. That's the beginning of the Bhagavatam. The sages, oh, this is Sutta Goswami to the sages of Namisaranya. Says even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna means even if we don't know really the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through His holy name. That, but yes, it's because the holy name is identical with Krishna. And it is stated here that Krishna's name is feared even by fear personified. That means that the holy name is non-different from Krishna. That therefore the name of Krishna is as powerful as Krishna himself. There is no difference at all. And therefore we should take advantage of the holy names of Lord Krishna, even in the midst of great dangers. The transcendental name of Krishna, even though uttered unconsciously or by force of circumstances, can help one obtain freedom from the hurdle of birth and death, Srila Prabhupada writes. That's the beginning of the Bhagavatam. But factually, the speaking of the Bhagavatam by Sukadev Goswami starts in the second canto. That and what was the question at the end of the first canto that Maharaj Pariksit was asking all the sages? He said, because he was cursed to die in 7 days. That so he was asking all the sages that I'm going to leave my body soon. What's the duty of a man about to die? What should I do? And all the sages gave different answers. But then finally a pure devotee, Sukadev Goswami, appeared. And he asked the same question to Sukadev Goswami. That and Sukadev Goswami started to say with Varyam Ishate Prashna Krito Loka Itam Nipa Atma Vitsamatam Fam Shotavya Yadi Suyat Para. He said, this is Varyan, this is a very good question, he says, because such questions that you are asking are beneficial to all kinds of people. So we are all persons to die, about to die. That there's no difference. It's so the answer on this question is good for all people. Answer to this question is a prime subject of hearing, and it's approved by all transcendentalists. But then he started explaining persons who are materially inclined, they are blind for this knowledge. They cannot understand because they are envious of Krishna and they are interested in sleeping and sex and sense gratification. That and they don't inquire about the problems of life. They are too attached to the body. That that. But then, yeah, then he answers that question in one verse. So, what's our duty of a man about to die? He says, Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Shotavya Kirtitavya Sha Smartavya Shishatabayam. O descendant of King Bharat, one who desires to be free from all miseries, he should hear about Shravan, glorify Kirtan, and remember Smaranam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Super Soul, the Controller, and the Savior of all. miseries. So the transcendental holy name, it said, may of the Lord may be heard and chanted according to the attraction of devotees, So you have Krishna as his incarnations, and these incarnations have different names, also holy names. And they're also powerful. And one can chant according to the attraction of the devotee. So in the passage of Lord Chaitanya said to Murari Gupta, Murari Gupta was a Ram Bhakta. And he was always chanting the name of Ram, 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 Ram. And Lord Chaitanya said, you should chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Because Ram is an incarnation of Krishna. Is Vishnu Tattva. But the holy name of Vishnu or Krishna is supreme. He said, yes, and I think he said that, yeah. Anyway, because Vishnu is Vishnu Tattva, it means all the incarnations, because Krishna, it's mentioned about them, eti shamsakala pumsa Krishna stu bhagavan svayam. So Krishna is the fountain of all other incarnations. They are his expansions. He's the origin. And it's explained that Krishna has 64 qualities. He has 4 unique qualities. He's very beautiful. He has his pastimes with his devotees. That he plays the flute, and he has this very intimate relationship with the gopis, Madhurya Ras. And this is all unique to Krishna. And the other incarnations don't have that as such. Balaram has that also, but then after Balaram, it's all Vishnu Tattva, that 60 qualities. So they have 92% of the power of Krishna, all the qualities of Krishna. And so therefore the primary name is Krishna's name. Krishna's name, and Ram's name. Ram's name is less powerful. I think 3 names of Ram equal 1 name of Vishnu. That's somewhere in the Puranas. But one chants the holy name according to one's attraction. And so Lord Chaitanya said to Murari Gupta, you should chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And Murari Gupta tried the whole night to chant the mantra, but the next morning I came back to Lord Chaitanya and said, I cannot do it. I'm too attracted to Ram. I must chant Ram's name. And Lord Chaitanya said, yes, you are Hanuman. He was attracted to the form of the Lord in servitorship like Hanuman. So one may chant the holy name of the Lord, or may chant the holy name of Lord Ram or Nrsimhadev. There are so many incarnations, and the Brahma Samhita is quoted here, Amada Murtisa Kalan Yamena Tistan. As there are waves on the ocean, there are so many incarnations, yes, innumerable forms and names. So all these expansions of Krishna, they are presiding deities of Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky. So there is such a variety. So the Lord has innumerable forms and names, and the devotees may meditate upon a particular form and chant a holy name according to his attraction. So there is also a verse in the in the third canto that that explains this. That Van Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita et Saroja. So this verse that begins with this says that the Lord that one hears of the Lord, and this holy name, the chanting of the holy name, goes to the heart, is relished in the heart. But the Lord appears in the heart to his pure devotee, in the form he feels attracted to. Usually for devotees, the Lord will appear in the heart as his two-armed form of Krishna. That for the yogis he will appear in the four-armed form. For the Ram Bhaktas he will appear in the heart as Ram. For Nrsimhadev Bhaktas he will appear as Nrsimhadev. So these are different forms and different holy names, but there is a condition. One must hear this holy name, about the holy name, the form, and so on, from a pure devotee. From a pure devotee. That from a pure devotee with the same attraction. That so one who is attached to Krishna should chant and hear from other pure devotees who are also attached to Krishna. So one has to find those who are attached to Krishna. And from them and become affected by their association and get the same attachment. That's so pure devotee works by association with other devotees. Chanting is best done in association of devotees. Guru Maharaj wanted in the morning that we would sit together and chant together the holy name. That's more powerful. Anyway, we have in the Jagananda Pandit, he writes in his Prema Vivahta that yes, if one chants the holy name outside of the association of devotees, then something resembling the holy name will come out of his mouth, but not the real holy name. That's quite a statement. So we need association with devotees to chant properly. That's explained here. So the same principle applies for devotees attracted to Lord Ram, Lord Nrsimha, and so on. But then the primary holy name is the name of Krishna. Because Krishna's two Bhagavansvayam. H Samsakalapur Pumsa Krishna's two Bhagavansvayam. This is a verse from the third chapter of the first canto. And it's called the Paribhasita Sutta verse. It is the primary verse that the primary verse of the Bhagavatam, one of the main key verses, and all the other verses are subordinate to it. Means Krishna's Tubayansvam, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead from which all elder incarnations come. He's a fountainhead of all incarnations. So his holy name is the primary name, and his form is the primary name, the primary form. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the verse like Sukadev Goswami has specifically described Lord Krishna's holy name and form and qualities. So this is what the Sukadev Goswami advises the King Parikshit to prepare for his death, to chant his holy names and glorify the Lord and remember the personality of Godhead. Because it is said yam yam vapis vram bram ternt ante kalevram tamtam aveta kantia satadat bava bhavita. Whatever consciousness one develops at the time of death, that one will attain again. That so if one leaves his body in Krishna consciousness, then he will attain Krishna. He will attain Krishna and get rid of this stay in this prison house of the material world. So, the Srimad Bhagavatam great devotees like Sukadev Goswami have specifically described Lord Krishna's holy name and qualities. Unless one hears about the holy name, form, and qualities of the Lord, one cannot understand the other processes of devotional service. That is a clear indication. If we don't hear daily about Krishna, his form and qualities, we cannot chant the holy name properly in the proper mode. So that goes together. So that's Bhagavad Vidhi. It's Shravana Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Hearing about Krishna, remembering, chanting about Krishna, and remembering. Means hearing the Bhagavatam every day. Chant the slokas of the Bhagavatam. And try to remember the verses and the purports. And that will help us to come to the right point of chanting the holy name with affection, with the inclination to love Krishna. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya recommends at once chant the holy name of Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. That all glories to the Sankirtan of the holy name that Lord Chaitanya said, because it burns, it burns away all the miseries of material existence. That so one should hear it from the mouth of realized devotees, and then one will be successful on the path of devotional service. Hearing the holy name, form, and qualities is essential. So, in other words, hearing the Bhagavatam is essential. Hearing Bhagavad Gita is essential every day, and that will help us to chant with knowledge, with proper knowledge. So, are there any questions, please, so far? That
No, Maharaj.
yeah, and I would say this is practical for us, that we come together and hear about. And practically, that's what we are doing now. That we are together hearing about Krishna, hearing the Bhagavatam, and try to understand the importance of every statement Prabhupada makes here in this long purport. Because if we understand it, we can be successful in execution of our devotional service. That we can continue and do one and have also read this next verse. I will bring it on the screen again. Just a moment here. Sharing. So this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, a famous verse, especially for its purport by Prabhupada. 1.5.11. Tatvach visharga shanataga viplavo yasmim pratislokam abhaddavatyapi. Namanyanantasya yason kitaniyat Shivanti Gayanti Hinanti Sadhava. First is describing the name, form, and qualities of Anantadev, the unlimited Supreme Lord, are able to vanquish all the sinful reactions of the entire world. Therefore, even if such verses are improperly composed, devotees hear them, describe them, and accept them as bona fide and authorized. I remember that Mahavishnu Goswami, the old Swami from Gujarat, said, so just one verse of the Bhagavatam can liberate you. And he said, even one pada, one line of the verse can liberate you. Even one word of a verse of the Bhagavatam can liberate you. It's so potent. So hearing these verses of the Bhagavatam, try to remember them with love. It will liberate us. That was also the instruction of Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Maharaj, that we should memorize every day the verse of the Bhagavatam class. So then in this connection, Sridhar Swami has remarked that a pure devotee takes advantage of another pure devotee by trying to hear from him about the holy name, form, and qualities of the Lord. If there is no such opportunity, he alone chants and hears the Lord's holy name. When Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, he liked to meet with his godbrothers who came to visit him and gave all time to them. Just to hear about the holy name, form, and qualities. Yes, we should take advantage. So we have discussed Shravanam, and next time we will continue with. Next week we will continue with Kirtanam, hopefully from Mayapur if we get the internet connection. So, any questions further? There are no questions. Then
No. Yes, Maharaj, I had one. It's not very pertinent, but I remember hearing concerning Shravanam that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati said about Srila Prabhupada that he likes to hear. And could you elaborate on that at all? I'm not sure how he knew that, or if he ever said anything more about that.
Well, this is in Prabhupada Lilamritam that Prabhupada at that time was traveling all over India to advertise the products of his pharmaceutical company. And one time he was near to Delhi and he heard that this spiritual master was in Koshi, that's close to Vrindavan. It's part of Vrindavan Mandal. And that he was going to give a lecture. So Prabhupada went to that lecture and Prabhupada writes, he says that also in the lecture, you can hear it. He says, my spiritual master was speaking high philosophy and I could not understand everything, but I tried to listen. I tried to listen with attention. Somewhere or other, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj must have noted that he was trying to hear with attention. And when a devotee came, a brahmachari came said to Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Maharaj should Abhayas come, Bhakta Abhayas come. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Maharaj said, yes, I noted. I noted him, he likes to hear. And therefore I will give him initiation. So that was a quality that he saw in Prabhupada, which made him say, I'm going to give him an initiation. It's a very more important quality. Just try to hear. And it's not easy just to try to hear. Because mostly what we hear, we retain from it 10% maybe. But when we hear it, and we know how to practice it, and we start to practice it, then we attain more. So, but it starts with hearing with attention. If we hear with attention, we can attain much more. So that's the point of hearing with attention. In the last purport of the 3rd chapter of the 1st canto, Prabhupada said one should hear with attention. To hear with attention, one must be pure in mind. To be pure in mind, one must be pure in habits. To be pure in habits, one must follow the 4 regulative principles and give up sinful life. If one does not give up sinful life, one cannot hear with attention. So that's the brahmachari training, that we are all brahmacharis, also the Ghyasta brahmacharis, Ghyasta brahmachari, that we follow these regulative principles. And then we can hear with attention. So that is important. Hearing with attention also means I make it a priority in my life to hear the Bhagavatam. When I hear Bhagavatam, forget everything else. And absorb in it. And that will help us. I hope this helps. Hare Krishna. Anything else, please? Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, then I look forward to see you next week. I'm going to prepare for attending Mangalarti now. Have a good night. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Bhakti Prabhu